Okay, welcome to the upper appendicular skeleton video. So, as always, here's our unofficial mascot, the guy walking. So what we're going to do is you're on tab 10 at this point, and you've clicked on the video. So here's where we are in our list. It says pectoral girdle and upper limbs. And we're going to start with the clavicle, the scapula, the humerus. Now, on my little computer model, look, you can actually click here. See, here are the clavicles. I know on your list it says know the difference between left and right. Obviously, we're not going to be doing that. You have to know what is the bone, and then, yes, the two parts that are on this actual bone. So, there are the clavicles. Now, on your handout, so here is a picture. This is a scapula, front and back. And there it is. That's a clavicle. Actually, just because I've done this for a while, looking at that one, that actually that looks like it would be a right clavicle. This part actually attaches to the point. This is called the acromion process. You can feel that. It's the point on the shoulder that sticks out right above your arm. This is called the sternal end because it attaches directly to the sternum. If you go back, see our little diagram, see that flat area there. So there's the sternum, and then see how the, I'm going to turn it, it's covered up by a ligament. Oop, I clicked on the scapula, but yeah, you can see it kind of curves out here. That's the acromion. See, it makes this little point on the shoulder. So that's the clavicle. All right, now the scapula. You do have some things to identify on it, and then the humerus, we'll do the rest of these. So going back, well, yeah, so here is where we're going to start. So here's the scapula. I'm going to back this up a little so you can see the whole thing. If we're looking at our little computer guy here, so we turn him around, see that? There's the scapula, that's a right. This is obviously a left. Let's see if I can get him to move over, but he's not going to, it looks like. Yeah, you can actually click there. Now look, this on the back, this is the posterior. So if you turn it around, see how the anterior is kind of flat. So we'll go from there. A landmark on the scapula would be the spine that goes across the back. See it there? This is the spine over here. Anyway, I got to move over a little more. There we go. So, and you can kind of click on this. It's kind of cool. You can show all the little landmarks and everything, so we can make it colored. You can see here, see where the acromion comes out. That's the spine. All right. So going back to our picture, so starting at the top of your list, see this point? So here's the spine. See that point? That's called the acromion process. This kind of flat area is where the humerus goes. That's called the glenoid cavity, this part. The coracoid is actually this. It's anterior. It's kind of on the front. And if you can find the spine, that's pretty easy. So this little flat area where a muscle goes, this is called the supraspinous fossa. All this underneath here is the infraspinous fossa, all of that. And like I said, this is the spine. So the other view we have, now this would be like the front or the anterior version. See the big flat area there. Here's the coracoid process. There's the acromion process. There's the glenoid cavity. You can't really see the spine from that angle, but that's all the parts of a scapula. Don't worry about having to know if it's right or left. This one happens to be a right one, it looks like. Yeah, see how that's going that way? It'd be the same thing there. See, that's a right. But right here, look, you can see the supraspinous fossa, the infraspinous fossa, the spine, the acromion process. I'm sorry, that's the acromion end on the clavicle. And there's the coracoid process. So right there. It's where the bicep attaches. All right, so we're gonna go back. Now, this is, let's click on it, says upper limbs. How about the humerus? We'll do that one. Okay, so we took away the, I don't know if I like that or not. That looks it's kind of freaking me out a little bit. Let's go back to this guy. All right, so we got the ribs intact. There's the humerus. And by the way, I hope on the clavicle on your list where it says acromion end, if I called that the acromion process, I apologize, but it's the acromial end. If you put process, I'd still give you credit for it. So where we are, we're on number 35 on your list. It's called the humerus. So don't worry about knowing left or right. If we get a little close here, look, we can do this. There we go. So I can highlight it. There is the humerus. If you back it up, it's got a lot of little parts to know. I'm going to stick with maybe the big things to ask you, but you have to be able to identify the bone, the actual humerus bone. Oop. So if you scroll down here, so here it is, going all the way to the bottom. That is a humerus. Now, this is the front, or what would be the anterior part of the humerus. The next picture down here, and the reason I know this, see this big fossa, that's always in the back. This is called the olecranon fossa, the big O. So this is the posterior surface. So if I'm going up here, see this little round, okay, the round end at the top, that's the head. There is a picture down here on the bottom, see the head there? Now, towards the bottom, there's a little bit closer up, see the head is blown up. Now, the surgical neck and the anatomical neck under B under number 35. See that line here? That represents what is called the anatomical neck of the humerus, and this would be the head end, say the rounded part. Okay, the surgical neck is like right in this area. It's typically a couple of inches below the anatomical neck. It's called surgical neck because usually if you break your arm, you're going to break it in that area. If you're going to break your humerus. Now, on your list under H and I, it has greater tubercle, lesser tubercle. This is going to be kind of tough with a picture. There's a groove right here, and you can tell, look, there's a bump here, this whole thing, and there's a bump on the other side. Let me see. Well, this is the other end. Let's see if we can get a better view up here. Nope, not on that one. Not on that one. I think this is probably a little better view, but see this bigger bump? See, there's the groove. This is called the greater tubercle. This here would be the lesser tubercle. Tubercles are called a projection off of a bone. So, yeah, I think so. See how much bigger this one is than that one? See how this has got more area to it? That's the greater tubercle, lesser tubercle. Now what you have to do is you scroll down. This is the other end, and I'm really close. So this is the distal end of the humerus. So the part further away from the shoulder. So we're talking down here. This little area down on the bottom here. Now let's see if I can, we have radius, yeah. On the upper limbs, it just says humerus, but that's fine. Let's see what we can do with this. There we go. Now, you can see a little bit. Can't see as much as I want to see. And then we got that. That's the top. Okay. So, if you look on this end, see this? Here's the back part of the humerus. So we're down here. So a couple of things. See this big bump coming off? And it's actually above where it connects, so it's called an epicondyle. This is the medial epicondyle. This little bump on the outside would be the lateral epicondyle. Now, this kind of flat area, that's probably not the best way to show it. Here we go. See this part that goes all the way to here, kind of looks like a pulley to me. That's the trochlea. The round structure there is the capitulum. Sometimes you refer to, I've heard people call it the capitulum. There's no ch in there, but that's a C on your list, number 35. See that smaller bump? that is the lateral epicondyle. This big bump here would be the medial epicondyle. If you feel on the inside of your elbow, you'll feel a bump right there. In fact, there's a nerve that goes here, and if you hit that, it hurts. It's called the funny bone. So if we go on the other end, you can see it there. Medial epicondyle, lateral epicondyle, capitulum, and then this area there is called the trochlea. That articulates with the ulna and the radius. Now, it's kind of hard on a picture, but can you see there's a depressed area there? That is the coronoid fossa. And then the area in the back is called the olecranon fossa, a depression. So that's it. That's all the humerus parts. Don't worry about knowing left or right. So this is an ulna. Here the ulna, see, makes kind of a U. Let me see if I got a better view. I do. Here we go. See the U? That's an ulna. Now look. So we got it reversed here. So you got this end, which is the part that's going to connect here on the humerus. And this would be the distal end. This is where you're getting down to the wrist bones, is this area here. Let's see what our little program has to say. Now we're on to the ulna. There it is. So the inside bone, see it coming down that way. See the part here attaches the distal end. You can see the little styloid on this end. And it's getting close to being, you know, the wrist. See the little styloid coming down. So let me go to this end. So here's a nice blown up. This is one side of the ulna. And then that's supposed to be, although it looks like it's still the same side. Okay, well anyway, you have this side. So this is called a radial notch. It's where the ulna, the radius attaches. Little flat area right there, radial notch. This is the semilunar notch or trochlear notch, connects to the trochlea. Now this is at the top, this is called the olecranon process, because when you straighten your arm out, it goes in that olecranon fossa. When you bend it up, this is the coronoid process. Down here, it goes into this coronoid fossa, which would be there. That part goes into that. The olecranon goes in this in the back. The styloid process is that little tip, and this is the same end that the head is on. The head of the ulna is on the opposite end. It's on the distal end. So going back to our computer program, you can see it there. See, there's the styloid on that end. To click it again, and you could probably, there it is. That's a nice view. Let me click on it. Oop, there it is. So you can see it there. See, there's the trochlear notch. There's the olecranon process. See, it goes into the olecranon fossa on the back. Here's the coronoid process, the coronoid fossa on the ulna, or the humerus is there. So when you were to flex the arm, it's going to go into that. Anyway, that's all the parts of the ulna. Here's the radius on the outside. See it there? I did see on our program it had something about the radius context. There it is. See, it comes down. It's on the same side that the thumb end is on. So here you have, here's this end, then there's this end. The head of the ulna is on this end. Head of the radius is on this end. Good grief. The head of the ulna is on this end, the opposite end. The ulna is on this little pinky side. The radius is on the thumb side. So on the radius, it looks like it's got a flat top. This is the ulna. So here's the radius. See? Flat top. Goes all the way down to the bottom. This is a styloid process. Kind of, pictures are glaring a little bit, but there's not a whole lot you have to know here. Okay, the flat top is the head. The radial tuberosity is this bump there that comes off. It's where the bicep attaches, and that little point on the end here is called the styloid process. There we go. There's the radial tuberosity. There's the head. This is actually called the neck, but it's not on your list. Oh, it is on your list. I'm sorry. This is the neck, the head, and the radial tuberosity. So, head, neck, radial tuberosity. Okay, radial tuberosity, neck, head. And I think that's going to do it. So for the hand, so we got carpals starting there, little short bones. This would be the wrist bones. These going across here are called metacarpals. And then these are the phalanges. This is a proximal, a middle, and a distal. The four fingers have a proximal, middle, distal phalanx. The thumb only has a proximal and a distal. The thumb does not have a middle phalanx. So, metacarpals, carpals. On our little program, it did kind of mention the hand here for a minute. If you turn it around, let's see if I can get the, little bones aren't, I kind of want the hand ligaments to go away. Let's see if that'll make it. Well, not really, but oh well. So carpals, metacarpals, and then here are the phalanges. See the proximal, middle, distal phalanges. Okay, that's everything for the upper appendicular skeleton. Click on the next video, which is the last one, which we will cover the lower appendicular skeleton.